Hello and welcome to the Face Off on TrueSports Hockey. My name is Celine Shamarki and I am alongside Lucas Curtelli and Steele Roden. We are down to the final four and man, who would have thought Montreal would be in it? So let's just get straight to it. The last series, Montreal and Winnipeg. Winnipeg lost one of their top players, Mark Scheifele. So, the question really here is, did Montreal's chance heighten because Mark Scheifele got out? Because if you think about it, go back to the previous game as well against the Toronto Maple Leafs. We had Tavares out. He was like the first big guy that got out. And then Muzzin ended up getting out afterwards too. So do you think that it's kind of luck at this point for Montreal, or do you think that they actually do have good contenders on that team?
For me, Celine, I don't think it was luck. I really think now watching Montreal in the Toronto series and watching Montreal sweep Winnipeg, that they have a team that was built for the playoffs and built for the playoffs better than the Winnipeg Jets and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yes, Mark Scheifele was one of their top players, but still, you had Nikolai Ehlers, you had Kyle Connor, you had Blake Wheeler. You still had a lot of weapons there. Plus, you had a top goaltender, the Vezina Trophy winner in Connor Hellebuyck. So there's still a lot of factors there that contributed to Winnipeg losing. They really didn't play up to Montreal's speed. Montreal, again, like I said, is a playoff-built team. Carey Price is playing amazing. They're getting timely scoring, and I think it wasn't luck at all. It's just Montreal was the better team.
Yeah, I have to agree with Lucas here. And, you obviously talk about the injuries and then Mark Scheifele getting suspended. It does play a part into it, but I don't think it's been luck at all. Montreal has been a playoff team, and that we saw that in the last three games in that first round series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. But then again, you look at the second round against the Edmonton Oilers. Lucas is right. Kyle Connor, Nikolai Ehlers, Blake Wheeler, those guys were still there and still didn't really do much offensively. And then Connor Hellebuyck was having a little bit of trouble in the crease as well. So Montreal's been fantastic so far this playoffs. And then there is sort of a debate going on that I've been talking to our friend Crosby about, and that's the rest that Montreal is having right now. You look back in the first round, Winnipeg was on a week rest after they swept the Edmonton Oilers. Now Montreal is on a rest right now after sweeping the Jets. And then the Colorado Avalanche, same story. They swept the Blues in the first round, and they could have lost in 5 to the Vegas Golden Knights. So I'm not sure if this rest will help the Montreal Canadiens, but we'll see.
Steele, I want to touch on that. Also, the rest. I think it's going to help Montreal, really. They got Jeff Petry's injured. Shea Weber is coming to the playoffs. He has an injured hand. Who else? Brendan Gallagher as well has an injured hand. And Montreal has really been playing a lot of hockey in such a little amount of time. So I know rest could be a bad thing. You lose that groove, that mojo. But I think for this Montreal squad, having that rest is going to be crucial going against a tough team like Vegas.
And now, guys, let's just move on to Colorado, because Montreal here was the underdog, but Colorado they were the top contender. We kind of all had them in our bracket as to win the 2021 Stanley Cup. And then it just kind of all fell apart. So Vegas ended up coming back from a 2-0 series and won 4 games straight. So, let's bring it back here. Similar to Toronto and Winnipeg, Colorado was missing one of their key components, which was Nazem Kadri, who was out with a suspension, which is kind of all too familiar for everybody. We've seen this for 3 years now out of 4. So, it kind of was expected that he was going to be out this series. Let's just be real here. But, okay, so do you think that with Kadri being out, it really kind of played a factor? I guess it's like the same question from the first one with Scheifele. Do you think with Kadri being out, because if Kadri was in, do you think he'd be able to withstand Vegas's offensive power and help his team win the series? Steele?
I'm not quite sure. If you're comparing the Kadri suspension to the Mark Scheifele suspension, I think Mark Scheifele is way more important to the Jets than Kadri to the Avalanche. The Avalanche still have guys like Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Landeskog, Samuel Girard, Cale Makar on the back end, and then a Vezina candidate, a guy like Philip Grubauer in the crease. So when you look at their team, they were just well structured all around. And even though Kadri he's got some skill and he's more of a physical guy, that team was built for speed and physicality. And Nathan McKinnon can really bring that to the table, even though he's the best player on the Colorado Avalanche. And I think Vegas was just the better team. They could, like I said, they could have won in 5 games, but they played Robin Lehner in game 1 and got smoked 7-1. So if they don't play Robin Lehner, it could have been a quicker and easier series.
Yeah, Steele, I agree with some of your points there, but I think having Kadri out, getting suspended for that long period of time ruined kind of the mojo of the Colorado Avalanche. He played on the first power play with McKinnon, and yeah, it was rolling at the start of that series against Vegas, but then it started to drop off. Also, Kadri on the defensive end, he makes a difference. He's turned into more of a defensive centerman, and I think that was really lacking against the Vegas Golden Knights throughout the series. And I don't know if you had Kadri, bringing that physicality, bringing that extra edge on the defensive end, could they have stopped them? We'll never know. But we've seen it all too much with the Toronto Maple Leafs. As soon as Kadri got out, it was just downfall for the Leafs, and it switched up the mindset of that team. So to a certain extent, like the Scheifele one, I don't know if it made a huge difference, but I think it kind of like it messed up sort of the line combinations and the line chemistry with the Colorado Avalanche.
Okay, I want to ask you this one question here. With the Mark Scheifele suspension, it was really circulating, and a lot of people were kind of debating, and they were on the fence. Should it have been a suspension or more so a fine? What do you guys think? Just quickly, Steele?
Well, I think the hit was the, textbook description of charging. He skated from one end to the other, and I know what he's trying to do there. We all know that he's trying to back check. It's a 1-goal game with a minute left. You're trying to get to the puck, and most of the times getting to the puck is taking away the body. And so he's going from one end to the other. He's charging, he's skating as fast as he can. He does glide towards the end for a little bit, but he hits the head. The head is first contact there, and then the whiplash when he hits the ice. So yeah, I think they got it down. I think they were correct with the punishment. I thought 4 games was the good call because he wasn't, a repeat offender, but at the same time, it was a big, vicious hit. It's not what he was trying to do, but he got the head first. So I think it was the right punishment there for Mark Scheifele.
Lucas?
Yeah, Steele. I agree with Steele. In today's NHL, that is a suspension. If we were talking 10 years ago, I don't even think it would have been in a conversation for suspension. But in this NHL, they're looking at principal contact with the head, which Mark Scheifele had. The player went down. He was stretched off, so it really looked bad. He was concussed. It took him out of the series. So yeah, I think they got it right. NHL player safety with the 4 games.
And now, last topic here. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Islanders. Now, Tampa is the defending champ, and they've had a playoff experience, not to mention being, I think it was $17 million over cap space. But, okay, so nevertheless of that, do you think that the New York Islanders' gritty play and their work ethic and well-structured playing style is enough to take down the Tampa Bay Lightning? Steele, I see you nodding your head.
Yeah, I've talked about the New York Islanders a lot, and I believe so much in Barry Trotz and what he brings to the table in that defensive-minded game that they're going to win this series against the Tampa Bay Lightning in 6. And, I've had conversations about who are the people going to be filling the gap for Anders Lee after he went down to injury and is going to miss the entire the second half of the regular season and then the postseason. I was thinking about guys like J.G. Pageau, Anthony Bavilio, Josh Bailey, Brock Nelson. I've talked to people that I wasn't quite sure if Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac were going to be those guys after they acquired them at the trade deadline. And Kyle Palmieri's done a fantastic job, especially in that second round against the Boston Bruins. So I love what Barry Trotz is doing. I've said this all postseason long, that great defense generates great offense. And we saw that in the first game from the New York Islanders against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I have the Islanders in 6, and I just love what Barry Trotz brings to the table behind the bench.
Lucas?
I love the New York Islanders. I love Barry Trotz. Lou Lamoriello has done a great job with them. But I think Tampa Bay, and Celine, you said it, they're $17 million over the cap. They have their best lineup ready for the playoffs. Nikita Kucherov was out all season, and he comes back, and he's one of the top performers in the playoffs. I think he was under an alias in the KHL playing somewhere all year. That's just maybe a mystery, maybe a rumor I've been hearing. But how can a player who's been out all season, who had a major hip surgery, come back and be this good? Steven Stamkos is healthy. You have Braden Point. Andrei Vasilevsky is the best goalie. has been the best goalie in the NHL the past couple of years. And yes, they held them to 1 goal in game 1. But once that offense gets cooking, I don't think the New York Islanders can stop that high-powered offense. So I'll go with Tampa in 7.
Well, only time can tell. Right now, it is a 1-0 lead for the New York Islanders, so it looks like it's heading maybe in Steele's favor, but you never know. It's just game 1. And Montreal and Vegas. What do you guys think? What's the predictions here? Steele?
For me, I got Vegas. They're too good. They're just too good. Montreal, they've had a fairy tale run right now. Carey Price is playing unbelievable, but Vegas is, to me, a complete team. They've been to the conference final, the Stanley Cup final, in their short time of being in the NHL. I think this is their year. I'm gonna go Vegas in 5.
Yeah, Lucas, I have the exact same. Vegas in 5. And it's not to discredit the Montreal Canadiens. I just don't think the rest is going to do them any favors here. And, the Vegas Golden Knights have their entire lineup ready. They're all healthy for once. And, Max Pacioretty and Mark Stone have just been too great. Marc-Andre Fleury, even though Carey Price has been on another level, so Marc-Andre Fleury is right beside Carey Price. And I just think the top 2 lines for the Vegas Golden Knights have been better so far this postseason and have been generating a ton more chances. So Vegas in 5, and it's going to be Vegas in New York in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Or Vegas and Tampa.
Or Montreal. You never know. Maybe Montreal is the one that we should have had on our brackets.
Celine's going with the Canadian favorite, eh? The Leafs fans cheering for the Canadians.
They have a chance, but I think
Celine.
Vegas is just too strong right now. They're too strong. Marc-Andre Fleury's on a different level. Their defense are so good. And then Mark Stone, who's just one of the best, probably the best, right beside Patrice Bergeron as a defender, a forward coming back and playing defense. So that's why he's always in the Selke conversation.
Well, I agree with you guys. I'm Vegas in 5, as both of you guys just mentioned. And I'm on the Islanders side, not the Tampa Bay side.
Wow, we got another one. I'm
sorry. I'm so sorry. But, like I said, time will tell. But thank you guys for joining in with us today on True Sports Hockey, the Face-Off Series. My name is Peach Markey, alongside Steele Roden and Lucas Fratelli. We'll catch you guys here next week with another episode.